Wait, you want me to stop?
No, go ahead.
Nope.
Oh, I thought
Oh,
you said,
Jesus.
I thought you said
My
we were
pin blew
over.
up again.
I
We're
don't know
back.
how I messed that up either.
I think this is called a cold opening when you don't actually open with welcome back.
Yeah, you
You
good.
open up with Adam going, wait, do I stop?
Oh wait, I have to move those pigs and use them.
My pen. This is my good pen.
So let's talk a little bit about what you were thinking about cutscenes in the beginning, Adam. So you thought
yeah.
the game actually you'd missed something when you started.
Yeah, that's. I thought I missed an important cutscene that maybe told me a little bit about the story because I came in here not knowing anything about the game or even playing Limbo before it. So.
Would you expect to have to like look up information before or have played Limbo to understand the beginning?
I don't think so. But as someone who didn't, like, if you already knew that information, maybe you knew, like, because I didn't know I was a kid on the run, so maybe like you would have already known that if you had looked up information before. Because I didn't know that's what I was doing until then. You guys.
I also think that we have a special circumstance here because this is your game.
Yeah.
So what I thought happened was this was continuing on your save. Like,
Oh,
if
okay.
he would have just bought the game, then when you press that you can assume.
Well, did you think that, Adam? That it was my save? Or did you just think
No, I thought I missed a cutscene.
Yeah.
Like,
So I think it's interesting because I think the design decision the developers were going for was felt like you're dropped right in the middle of it. Dead.
well, I stopped. Like,
You're not being hunted by humans anymore. You're being hunted by the pigs.
Yeah.
Oh, look, his tail's wagging. I should have seen that. Run, kid, run! The mud is slowing me down. Oh, jumping over.
If you jump, you survive.
Like ragdolling.
And they should let you wrestle it.
I didn't. Wait, maybe I could. I didn't push X.
Yeah.
Oh my god, if it lets you get on it and like ride it like you're in a
I'm
rodeo.
gonna try X this
I
time.
take back everything negative I Oh, good job. Good job,
I
Adam.
don't think so.
I was just trying it out. I wanted to see if it worked. All right, Piggy, let's go. Let's go. When you get close to me. Oh, I pushed.
Wow.
You gotta get that frame perfect.
You
It might be the
are
latency.
great.
There shouldn't be a latency with the controller.
Okay.
You're just bad.
I might just be
It's
bad.
the lag. He's like that guy in Overwatch. He's like, I'm lagging. 200 ping. That's why I suck. Oh,
Nice.
Oh.
Good job.
There
well, I
we
didn't
go.
know that was gonna happen.
So is that kind of just like a happy accident then?
That was. I was
So
just-
is this
I was
the
just-
rest of the game? You having to jump back and forth on top of this pig?
No, I have to use the pig probably to do something else.
Put it in the ground.
You
Oh.
knocked him out.
Yeah.
That's a lot of force. He was running fast enough to knock himself out.
So I think the feel the developers were going for by not including a cutscene was feeling like you're just dropped in the middle.
Oh yeah.
And I think you can tell me how you might have felt differently, but a theme throughout this game is kind of uncertainty and not really understanding why you're doing what you're doing. But that actually left me unsatisfied. Like when I finished the game, I read for like an hour, like Inside Ending Explained, because I didn't like the feeling it left me with, and I don't know if that was their intention or not.
I think this game tries really hard to be different from other side scrollers, and like it's trying to stand up like the no cutscene in the beginning, no explanation. There's no text, there's no dialogue, there's no nothing. There's just gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
And so far, I haven't gathered any story. So there's not a story mechanic too. It's literally just solving puzzles
Well,
with a different aesthetic
I
appeal.
know that I'm on the run, and I know that someone's killing pigs and not using their body parts. Like you said you didn't gather any. I think there's something to gather.
But that's not a story.
There are pieces of a story.
Yeah, I think there's pieces in a story, and you have to create.
And I think that's what this game gives you, really throughout the whole thing, are just pieces of a story.
Yeah,
I don't.
You have to try to find
Yeah,
a way to.
because Limbo
connect
was
them.
very similar in that. I know neither of you played it, but throughout the whole game, you kind of just have this sense of wandering, like just trying to survive. And at the very end, you get one, maybe 3-second cutscene that tells you maybe what Limbo actually was. And I think it's very
What
good.
did you just do?
I pulled off the pig's tail.
Oh my
somehow.
god. Oh my god. It makes it stand up. So what? not. That's not safe for work at all.
He's just that little pig. Look how starving he is. You can see his spine.
Yeah. Obviously, someone's not treating their.
What the?
Oh, is there people here?
No, it's all your imagination. Guys, I gotta.
Oh wait, I removed X and.
Oh, you're controlling the people.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I am.
Well, while you do your mind control thing, I want to tell you about a dream I had. Less UX, more about this. So I had a dream I was in a house. I've been watching a lot of Criminal Minds lately, which makes me insane. Yes. And I had a dream that some people were getting murdered in a house, and I was there. And there was one other guy there that was innocent, and the cops got there, but we tried to like hide and run away anyway. And when we did, they saw us, and Bernie Sanders was in a car outside. And so I pulled him out of his car and stole it, but the brakes didn't work. And so I was running from the cops with no brakes. I didn't get away. The end.
Use your psychology degree to figure out what that means.
It means, I can tell you exactly what it means. It means nothing. And you see, nobody even missed anything because Adam has made absolutely no progress in the time that it took me to tell that story.
I do think it's a good. The one of the reasons I think this would be a good game to pick though is during the lapses where Adam's not doing anything, or maybe that's rude. Trying.
Well, Adam, this isn't specific to you, but you're playing, so we're gonna talk about it in terms of you.
When you're trying to solve puzzles, is a good place to talk about those principles.
Yeah. Like, so I don't know.
It just doesn't give you any indication of what you have to do. Like, it seems like.
There we go. Nice.
There you go.
See, I think so. That amount of time for me personally is the perfect amount of time to solve a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too long to where it's extremely frustrating, but right where you get to that cusp of like, I don't know what to do anymore, and then you figure it out.
So this is interesting though, is that these people can be controlled by this one boy in here. That's just.
I like the mechanic.
I'm sure we'll never see that mechanic again.
We probably will. But that's interesting about this world, I guess. Oh, I thought I could grab that.
I like the boy's physics a lot too. When he falls and grabs onto things, it feels very realistic.
And when he jumps.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Look, it's so nice out here.
So nice.
There's only like one destroyed car.
Yeah, only
well,
only a little bit of death and destruction.
You can actually see the sun for the first time.
And there's not a pile of pigs.
Daniel, me and you keep like saying the exact same thing.
That's because we are one mind.
Well,
I should have said that.
All men are the same, Adam.
Yeah, just like those boys.
Look, there's more people like.
Just like what?
Like those boys, the sweet boys.
I can control them.
That's all Adam wants to do is mind control. Adam, you should work for the government.
No.
Dun dun dun.
Ooh.
So I will say with this game, I think, granted, I'm also not a puzzle game player, so I'm not really the target audience, but the absolute most, like the biggest appeal for this game is aesthetically. And by aesthetically, I don't just mean visuals, but just the way that it feels, and the sounds that they use, and like the environment that they give you is very like suspenseful.
Yeah.
And it makes you like want to know what's going to happen next.
It does a good job. So this is definitely not a horror game, but it gives you the same feelings that a horror game gives you without actually being afraid, right? Because you're going to keep spawning, and there's no punishment to death.
Right,
so
because there's no items or anything. You don't gain anything except progress.
No punishment, but the same sort of, you feel very fragile, right? And I love that, because in a lot of other games, you have this health bar, but you're like 10 years old. In this game, you basically have the same health bar that an actual 10-year-old would. And that, like, if you get run over by a pig, you're gonna die. See,
I'm the opposite with the type of gamer that I am. I hate the feeling of being fragile. So that's why I can't stand games like Slenderman and Amnesia and stuff like that, where all you can do is run away. But games like Dead Space and Fear, I really like, because it's scary, but you can fight back.
See, I prefer the opposite. Because I like the...
Oh my god, you had to like thread the needle to screw that up.
1 in a million. 1 in a million.
Yeah. And that just speaks to different audiences, but I'm not a big horror game person because I don't like being afraid, but I prefer games like Amnesia where you can't do anything.
Oh my gosh, I thought you did it again.
Well,
Yeah,
it's if you jump too far, you go through the hole.
I like horror games if you can fight back. I don't like horror movies and stuff though. I don't really like the feeling of being afraid either, but I play Dark Souls and I get afraid all the time when I play Dark Souls.
Is a horror game.
It's not a horror game, but I get scared.
Well, that happens. I mean, like, I can't think of an example. There's plenty of non-horror games that I get spooked during.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, I think I like the excitement of it more than actually being scared, which is why I like being able to fight back.
Yeah. I think that's why I like this game so much, though, is because it has that horror aesthetic without giving you the anxiety that a horror game normally gives you.
Yeah.
And I think it attains that very well.
Ooh. I like how it didn't make me just go back through the bottom there.
What do you mean?
So, this error right here that I made, I just walked.
Oh, yeah, it didn't, like, punish that.
You want to...
That was interesting.
You want to know something I just noticed that I think is a really good thing that this game did that a lot of side scrolls don't do is even though you're operating in a 2D space, it utilizes the 3D space. So when you move this, it gets stuck on the bars.
Yeah.
And I didn't even consider that. Like a lot of side scrollers are made to be 2D just because that's what they are inherently, but this one,
it uses verticality very well too, and that you're not really just going left and right.
Mind. You can't go in depth, I forgot. You got to use something to move that up while you're standing on it.
Well, I think I might be able to jump on it.
I mean, it's not going to keep moving unless you're holding on to it. Oh, rotate it and lift it up and jump on it from that other ledge. Like, rotate it back the other direction. Go push it. No. Go push it. No.
I think you're right.
The lid, Adam. The lid.
I think you're right. Hold on.
Oh, maybe you can't make it from there.
Well, I need to push it.
That's why I was telling you you have to rotate the lid,
You're
Adam.
whispering, by the way.
Oh,
Adam.
yes.
Everyone's gonna be like, I feel like there's a third person there.
But I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out the puzzles.
You're fine. Just
this is part of the practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the other thing too, though, is have you guys played other 2D puzzle solvers or no?
Nope.
I played one called Hue, but like most of them do have the like you only have one life.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Like, if you get killed, like I think Hue was one I played that was really fun. That used color. Really.
Oh yeah,
nice.
I played Hue.
That one's
Hue
nice.
is good. I'm also.
I mean, it sounds like it's meant to use color.
What is that game called?
Yeah.
Something.
Well, his name's Hugh, and it does. Damn it! I just messed that jump.
Adam.
I'm trying to get over there. It's not working. You
also have to like platformers because this is a puzzle platformer.
Yeah.
Thomas Was Alone
Nice.
is also a very good, like 2D puzzle game. Your friends are back.
And oh Jesus. Okay, well on that note, we're gonna next time on whatever this is.
I'll start back up here.
You're good. Go ahead. You don't have to stop.
Oh, okay.
We're going straight into it.
Yeah.
That was your like you're gonna pause it.
Yeah.
I for real thought you were just gonna jump in the hole again.
Shit. How did I die there?
You fell like 50 feet.
I know, but okay. I think I know what I'm supposed to do.
Do you know what you?
No, I'm gonna try to break that and then run over here.
Yeah, you turned left at the last second. Please don't jump off that ledge again.
I think I have to go back. Sometimes you have to be, smarter than the game. And I don't know if I'm always smarter than the game.
I don't think you need to be
That's
smarter
the
than the game.
10% rule, Adam. You gotta be smarter than the equipment.
No, I wanted to jump down.
I think
No,
if you
so-
So now, how do you feel about the fact that it doesn't punish you for that error?
Well, I just had to push X. Or A, I don't know, or push down, and I think it worked.
Nice.
Ooh, I thought I was gonna die.
Easy clap. Wait, what's that light?
Yeah, that flickered.
Yeah.
That made me think I could do
It's
something.
salient.
Okay, so this is a good example. So when we were talking about
Wait, is this a hidden
when
room?
it highlights things,
Yep.
that was a good
Yeah.
highlight. Like it stood out to let you know, hey, something's over here. You have to do something.
You got your first achievement.
I got the
Good job.
achievement. So I assume that was a hidden thing then, right? And it made it visible.
Yeah, because would you have ever gone over there if that wouldn't have flashed? Or would you have just gone straight to the right?
I was going straight to the right.
Yeah, so that's... And I think in games, it's important to find... You have to find that balance between highlighting and fitting with the game. Which in this particular game, it's more important. So like in an RPG, you can just highlight it with like white or something.
I mean, I would agree
But-
to an extent. So I don't think, since that was a hidden room, maybe since it was the first hidden room, unless
Ooh.
I was wrong about that one in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think since it was the first hidden room, it was okay to highlight, but I like the challenge of exploration on
So-
consequent plays, like being able to find stuff without it being obvious.
Well, you also have to keep in mind, I'm not talking about secret things. Secret things actually should
'Cause
not
that was-
follow that principle because they're not secret
that was
anymore.
a secret. Yeah.
Okay,
That
see, I
was-
didn't know
it
that was a
an-
secret. I assumed he had to do that
To do
because
what?
That was-
to go through that room because
No, that was just
for
a-
whatever reason, I don't know why, but I assumed that he had to because it highlighted it. And so
Oh, okay.
if it's a secret room, I wouldn't expect it to be highlighted. But
Yeah,
I
all the
think it was a
achievements in this
secret
game
room.
are optional. So like every achievement you get is by finding a secret.
right. So okay, because I mean that's really the only reward you can get because there's no items or gold or experience or anything. What no?
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
I actually didn't. I've even played this game before, and I didn't even notice those panels on the ground.
I didn't notice until you walked by them and
Yeah.
it opened the door
Yeah.
a little
that's,
bit.
That's why I keep doing, like, even though it's stupid, right? To keep doing the same thing over and over. Sometimes it helps me.
Yeah, you're right.
identify
And
But
I should clarify, it's not always stupid. And some games make you do that. Like some break the mold, and you do have to just stand there for like
Yeah.
30 seconds in order for something
That-
to actually work.
And that's actually in that's like in the heuristic list to not do that because of that what you just said is if it doesn't work in the first few seconds.
Yeah.
Like unless you're going to reward them for standing there for 30 seconds like
Yeah.
you reward them every couple seconds, then if the reward is the same whether they did it for
I don't know
5
if I
or
wanna
30
jump
then
down that.
there you shouldn't do it that
I'm
way.
not really sure that applies to a puzzle game, though, right? Because you do get rewarded for it. Now, I do think that can be frustrating.
Well, but that's the whole goal is to not frustrate users because think about it. If we say, okay, you need to push these buttons in this order, and you figure out, oh, this is the correct order, and it's okay. Now you have to do that 20 times. Like, there's no extra reward for that. The
right,
reward
got
is
that.
moving on, like
Yeah.
solving the puzzle. And if you've already figured it out, there's no reason to make them do it over and over again. So. And it's also different if it's like, oh, you need to knock on the door 3 times instead of knocking on it once. That's
Yeah.
different. But if they say that you have to solve this puzzle, you solve it. Now you got to do the thing that was the answer 50 times. Then that's a problem. Like just
It really just sounds boring.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is it just gets frustrating because it's like, why do I have to do this so many times if it's not benefiting me over doing it only once?
Yeah.
But I think in a puzzle game, sometimes that exploration is what why you're playing the game, right? Is you're trying to find out the.
And yeah, that's fine. But
You took your hand off the controller.
I know, the
I
worst
saw that.
time.
oh well,
Like,
I mean,
scratch my
you
nose.
solved it.
I guess that's what I'm supposed to do, but
Uh,
but yeah, I think that.
do you think you could have gone up there if you hadn't been scratching your nose?
Maybe like I think if I ran faster or jumped,
Yeah.
you know, and caught the.
I don't
ledge,
actually know. I'm just
yeah,
curious.
I maybe that could have been a thing. Like
I
but
think you might be able to. I don't know. I've only
I
played through this game
assume it
once.
probably just leads me to the same place.
Yeah. There might be an achievement or something up there then.
Yeah, that's like if you fail. You
I don't know if there's an achievement for it on this one, but in the original Limbo, there's an achievement for finishing the game in 4 hours with no deaths.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I can't do
well,
that one.
You know what? That's actually really smart for completionists because that forces you to play a second time. There's no way you're gonna beat this game the first time
Oh
without
yeah,
dying.
well you're not gonna find
So
all the
it's gonna-
secrets on the first run either.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like that's gonna even if they don't try to. Well, I guess I said completionist, but that's a good way to get a whole second playthrough with very little effort because there's a 0% chance of doing, especially something with as low context
Ooh.
as this.
Yeah. So there's one thing I want to talk about. So you just pulled off the boards on that door, right?
Yeah.
And that was a pretty low stress environment. Like nothing was really chasing you or anything.
Mhm.
One thing I think this game does well is as well is that it will teach you mechanics like that in a low stress environment. And I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna have to do that again in a very high stress environment that would be very frustrating to try and figure out. Yeah. So if you
That's
give
nice.
the players that sort of really
Move
easy
the
tutorial, you don't
ladder.
even.
Can you? Sorry.
No, you're
Go
fine.
ahead.
That you don't even realize it's a tutorial, right? Like you're just playing, and then
Yeah.
it's you don't even have to think about it. It's like the Don Norman door thing, right? So like if you have to think about which way to push the door, then the door has failed.
Yeah.
I think you can apply a lot of game elements in that way too.
Yeah, and that's why teaching them those small things early on with minimal
Stress.
like complexity
Yeah.
in it,
Yeah.
and then later on you can get more complex. But I assume this works like with every other puzzler where you do. It's teaching me the small things like with the hat trick.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna have to use that hat trick.
It
later
warms you
on,
up very
Yeah.
well. Yeah,
Right.
it starts out very simple and then adds more and more rules to it.
which is gonna be the fun part watching me try to figure those out.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we'll get to that today. I told you this is like a 4-hour. Well, probably more than that. 4 hours for like if you know all
Someone
the
who plays puzzle games.
Yeah. Well, no, just if you know the puzzles. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like,
Let me see. Actually, let me see what the playtime is on
if you
this.
study that. I thought I pushed the button, but nothing happened. I'm trying to.
Actually, we could have just checked how much time I had on this before we started.
Yeah. Did you only beat it once?
Okay, so I know I'm activating something because I can hear a sound, but
Yeah.
Well, it means that there's probably just another step.
yeah, but that's I'm just saying that's how
You
I
got to
know.
get power to the elevator.
That's how
You got
I-
to turn on the
I'm
generator.
just saying that there's good.
That's a trope, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just good sound cues.
Yeah,
to
it
let
gives you
me
good
know that I'm hitting
feedback.
something.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the feedback. Are you getting any vibrations, by the way? Because
When
I
was-
played keyboard mouse, so I didn't have
when I was
any
being
vibrations.
chased and like they're stressful environments.
Yeah.
It shakes. And when I get shot.
Yeah.
Haptic feedback is
This,
very.
I was very surprised you missed that.
Yeah.
I just walked right past it, but
Yeah.
second back through, I see that it's a light switch.
Nice.
Oh,
Well.
Average
And
playtime
you're
is
dead.
3 hours and 50 minutes. Maximum is 6 minutes based on like 15 different playthroughs by a bunch of people. So
I think I know what I have to do. I have to get in between the pole so that it can't see me.
ooh.
You even knew. You even saw
sorry.
what you
I
had to
didn't- I
do.
didn't think I was there though. I had like double. I thought he could see me, so I tried to adjust, and it didn't work.
This is the seafood restaurant all over again, or the sushi
Yeah.
restaurant.
So if
So I
you
keep
watch at him,
thinking I overstep.
he'll actually put his hands back. Like he gives you a visual cue that he's
Oh,
safe.
got you.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
actually really good. I mean that
Yeah, watch. See?
because
He
otherwise
stops
you're
and
not
puts his hand
entirely.
back like that. Yeah,
just-
then you know you're safe.
I gotta book it again.
Oh my god! I even saw his shadow.
Yeah. I mean, there's
It's
got to
not
be some
perfect,
margin
right?
for error, because
Yeah.
otherwise it'd just be frustrating.
Yeah. I think that it's really important that they put in that cue because I wouldn't have been able to tell exact. I thought you would have gotten caught
Yeah.
on that second one, and I would have tried to adjust, overcorrected, and then gotten shot with a spring.
See,
apparently,
I got shot so many times overcorrecting that I just.
How much do you
stopped.
guys play platformers?
Not very.
I think
See,
I think I've played a couple, but never finished them.
I've played them. I mean, I've played like Mario games and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but I also play. A big part of my gameplay is social, and so
Yeah.
and these don't. Like,
Oh, okay. That was,
oh, hey
that's
people.
supposed to happen.
I love that you were mashing.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought I could get
Oh,
up if I mashed. So I love that he's just faking it.
Yeah.
What?
I didn't even know you could get that close to that guy.
Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to. Shit. I moved. I wasn't supposed
You're a
to.
terrible robot, Adam.
I am. Oh, I'm just late on the.
I love that he looks up at the camera. There's so many subtle animations in this game that really add good detail to it.
Yeah. What in the world?
Oh, I assume I'm supposed to jump up there.
What it looks like.
I'm playing
All right,
What
let's
in
see
the
if
wor-
let's see how
That's not
Adam's
broken.
rhythm game.
Oh.
Oh, I'm supposed to be up there.
Oh Oh wow.
Oh.
There's much more margin for error on this part than I thought there was.
What?
Oh, Adam. I can't believe it's registering that.
Me neither.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Adam!
Are you in the circle? Are you in the square?
Well, I couldn't tell if I was supposed to be in square.
Next time
square.
on whatever. F11, and it should start a recording.